Real quick guys, before we jump into today's video, I wanted to ask you a huge favor. To those of you who have not yet clicked on that subscribe button to watch today's video, after that, check out our channel and other videos. And if you guys like what you see, then click on that subscribe button for us. We started 2020 with a goal to hit 50,000 awesome subscribers by the end of this year, and right now are at right around 48,000 or so, give or take a few. And we are so close to achieving that next biggest milestone in the short 2-year history of TrailBuilt, and know that it's because of all of you guys. So from the bottom of all our hearts here at TrailBuilt, we truly appreciate all of you for watching and all of your support. A one size does not fit all, so to speak, and couldn't be any more true when it comes to picking out the right tire for your own particular needs and circumstances. Then in addition to that, we need to factor in the varying climates and weather conditions. What might work best for someone that lives in the southern portion of North America may not work very well for those of us in the northern portion of North America. So then the question becomes, what are the best tires for the region of the continent we live in? Well, my friends, let's go find out. And guys, real quick, let me preface this first, as I think it's important to break down the regions before jumping into the tire info. The easiest way for us to determine what the northern and southern regions are is to separate it by those of us who get the icy, snow-filled, treacherous, wintry conditions, and those of us who don't. Or those of us who drive in the mountains and north of the 40th parallel, or the 40 degrees latitude line, which spans from about the center of the United States all the way up through Canada and throughout the state of Alaska. Then there are those of us who are south of the 40th parallel. And guys, this is a pretty close representation of the separation between northern winter climates and more tropical southern climates, and obviously there's going to be some overlap here. Starting with the Northern Territory. This needs to be a tire that is pretty much designed and engineered to do it all, or at least close to it all, and I'm not sure that perfect tire actually exists. Well, not yet anyways. And to keep it simple, we're going to go through the types of tires that will work best for those daily drivers that often see the trails on the weekends. Which means the tread design is going to have a lot of siping for additional grip in snow, on the ice, wet roads, and wet rocks. Because of all the mud and deep snow throughout the northern region, we'll need large evacuation tread voids, similar to a mud terrain, but we're gonna want a high number of center tread blocks for increased performance and traction on the road compared to a traditional mud terrain. We'll want large, bulky shoulder blocks to help scoop out mud and snow, and also aggressive sidewall cleats or sidewall lugs for extra bite in the deep ruts, snow, or while aired down for an increased footprint. The tread compound will need to be softer than an all-terrain to help increase its adhesion properties in the freezing, icy, cold winter conditions, plus helps the tire stick to wet rocks or similar slippery conditions. So a tire that has the 3-peak mountain snowflake rating would be the best case scenario there for optimized traction year-round. And we need at least a 3-ply sidewall to handle all the abuse and help prevent jagged rocks from tearing through the sidewalls. So this is one heck of a tall order for a tire brand, therefore there are only a few tires out there that fit within all of these parameters. First one is the Goodyear Wrangler DuraTrack, which is a favorite of many. Second one is the Mickey Thompson Baja Boss Hybrid All-Terrain, but in sizes narrower than 315 or 1250 wide to get the 3 PMSF rating. Number 3 on our list is the Cooper Discoverer Rugged Trek. And our last one is the Canati Trailhog AT4. And guys, these are just 4 of the most aggressive hybrid tires that I could find. It doesn't mean that there aren't more like this that have the 3 PMSF rating, and if there is, well, definitely make sure and let us know. Now with that said, there are a dozen or so other potential qualifiers on the market that do have the 3 PMSF rating, however, have tread designs that the tread blocks are more closely grouped together in patterns consistent with your lesser aggressive all-terrains, and are great, but for the northern and mountainous regions, we're looking for the most aggressive 3-peak mountain snowflake rated tire we can find to handle the greasy thick mud, deep snow, jagged rocks, slippery rocks and hills while off-roading, but still be able to handle the treacherous winter driving conditions on the pavement. Unless you barely ever hit the trails, then, well, your winter tire options are pretty wide open, but I would recommend staying within the brands and models that at least have the 3 PMSF rating. Also guys, for all of the different tires we're gonna go through with you today, we will have a link in the description to bring you right to them right on our website at TrailBuilt Off-Road. And now for all of you south of the 40th that rarely have to experience the joys of driving on ice, never knowing when it's going to be your turn to meet your maker, while the liquid sodium chloride, also known as liquid rust, eats away at our vehicles. It's getting to the point now where most of us don't even purchase replacement tires anymore, and instead, well, we just buy a new vehicle with brand new tires every couple of years and just throw the old one away. Obviously guys, I'm just being facetious here. If I didn't enjoy living on the brink of death, having a new vehicle every couple of years, well, then I would just move south by all of you guys. Anyways, emotions aside, south of the 40th parallel, picking out the right type of tire really just comes down to what the most common terrain is that you go off-roading on. If we want to, we can remove the severe winter driving 3 PMSF rating if we almost never driving temperatures below freezing or under 40 degrees, as that is what the 3 PMSF rating covers. However, with that said, a 3 PMSF rating tire will offer at least 10% more cohesion on the road or in the rocks, which is advantageous for many of you in the south. The only disadvantage is that your tires are going to wear faster, being that they have a softer rubber and silica composition. But regardless, an all-terrain or hybrid rugged terrain with at least a mud plus snow rating, 3-ply sidewall construction, and aggressive shoulder lugs and sidewall cleats will perform great in a large number of on and off-road environments. Like if you wheel in a lot of sand, silt, slick rock, or most rocks for that matter, unless they're always wet, then a lot of siping throughout the tread blocks will help tremendously there. Or you wheel a lot of 2-tracks out in the deserts. The offering on this type of tire is pretty vast, but a few favorites are the Nitto Ridge Grappler, Falken Wild Peak AT3W, and the BFG KO2. And now for some of my favorite tires are for those of us that are really needing a tough, super durable, aggressive, high traction tire for deep mud or trails that might normally tear the shreds out of an all-terrain or rugged terrain tire. And I'm referring to the mud terrain categorized tire. Mud terrains will typically have a tread compound that is going to be even softer than a 3 PMSF rated tire and will wear down the fastest if you're mostly doing on-road driving or playing on slick rock or other types of gritty granite-like types of rock surfaces. If you are racing through the desert full of hazardous jagged rocks, then the strength of a mud tire will be your friend. But if you're trying to not dig into or dig in the loose silt or sand at slower speeds, then an all-terrain or hybrid terrain will offer more flotation and less digging and will work best there. If it's mostly mud like it is in a large portion of the southeast areas or swamp like Florida, then again a mud terrain is the way to go in order to evacuate as much mud as possible to get the tread lugs biting and grabbing, unless of course you don't go off-roading, that is. Then obviously the all-terrain will last you the longest and offer better on-road comfort. And contrary to what many of us believe, an all-terrain or hybrid terrain tire with a fair amount of siping and airing down works just a little bit better for getting traction on slick rock or most rocks for that matter. However, you can't beat the strength of a mud terrain. So give up a little bit of traction for toughness or get as much traction as possible, and always make sure to carry along a spare tire. Also, one thing to note is that a mud terrain tire is going to be heavier than an all-terrain or hybrid terrain, and in a majority of cases, upgrading the driveline, suspension, and brakes is highly recommended in order to prevent sometimes catastrophic carnage, not to mention a drop in fuel mileage as well. So just something to keep in mind when considering upgrading to a mud terrain tire. And for some of the best mud terrains in the business, we're looking at the Nitto Trail Grappler, the Toyo Open Country MT, and of course the BFG KM3. And remember guys, as I had mentioned earlier, the link to check out all of these tires on our website is posted in the description below. And when you are researching these tires on TrailBuilt, also keep in mind that when you package a set of tires with a set of wheels, that we will mount and balance them for you for free, and guys, will also ship them to you for free if you live in any state in the lower 48, and that is a heck of a great savings. And guys, as always, we appreciate all of you for watching and all of your support. I'm Josh from TrailBuilt, and we'll see you guys out on the trails.